Good morning. It is 9:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. If you need a water filtration system or a water softener, you get that at betterwater.com. I want to begin today with an overwhelming sense of gratitude and thanks to you, the listening audience. Today marks 2 years that I have been at Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and I cannot tell you. No, I cut the pause. I don't need that. But I can't tell you, the audience, how much you guys have impacted my life and changed things for me for the better, and I'm just eternally grateful. I did not expect. Well, to be honest with you, I didn't expect to be welcomed into the WTN family as with open arms as I was.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised you lasted this long.
Me too. Me too. And we promise year 3 will be better. It won't be good, but it will be better.
We're trying.
But no, man, it has been a wild ride here. And when I started 2 years ago, I didn't know if the audience was going to like me. I didn't, and it was a process to get here, and I really want to thank Dan Mandis. I don't know if you guys know this, but Dan hired me, and Dan hired me after being told I wasn't the right fit for the job. So I had called Dan about this gig, and I had said, "Hey, if it's still open, I'm interested." And we talked a little bit, and Dan was like gung ho. He's like, "Yes, let's do it." And then I got a call a couple days later, and he's like, Dan said to me, he's like, "I'm sorry, Chris. They're not going to go with you." And I remember saying, like, "Damn." And I wasn't mad at Dan. Like, I knew Dan was pushing for me. And I remember hanging up the phone, and I looked at my wife, and I was like, "Dan said they're not going to give me the job." And she was like, "Oh." And I remember looking at her. I went, yeah, well, I'm still going to get it. and she looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, I don't know why. I was like, I just still feel like I'm going to get this gig. You can tell me no, but I feel like that this is for me. I felt it in my bones. And with enough poking and prodding and annoying Dan Mandis, he kept fighting for me behind the scenes. And Dan Mandis is absolutely the reason why I'm here today, and I can't thank him enough. He's impacted my life so positively. So thank you, Dan. Now, 2 years ago, when I was getting ready to start this show, I was also the media director for Turning Point USA, and that's a big job. And so I was over a lot of stuff at Turning Point. So we were trying to figure out a start date, and I remember and again, this is after I've been told, no, you're not getting hired. This isn't going to happen. I remember I finally got a meeting with the big market manager, Allison, and she's awesome. I'm a huge fan of hers. And I knew once I get that meeting, I was like, that's it. That's all I need. Just let me get in front of her. And find out who I am and what I'm about. And I feel like I could win her over. So I got a meeting with her, and we were talking at this meeting, and she's like, what's your dream scenario? Because, at the time I have a pretty decent gig. And I said to her, well, dream scenario would be I'll do both. And that would be the dream gig. I wouldn't give up any of my Turning Point responsibilities, and I would host the show Monday through Friday, and that would be the dream. And after that meeting with Allison, these guys here at Cumulus in Nashville, they gave me the runway to let that dream become a reality, and I'm eternally grateful. So as time went on, we're discussing this plan on how we're going to launch Chris. And first, I gotta admit to you, I'm nervous coming in here. Like, not even I had done a few fill-in shifts, and the audience was great to me, but I knew who I was replacing. And Mike had 17 years under his belt here, so I had expected a lot more pushback from you guys, and I never got that. I really didn't. You guys welcomed me with open arms, and I was overwhelmed by that. And shout out to the guy that came before me, too. One of the first people to reach out to me and congratulate me when I got this gig was him. So that stays with me, and I'll never forget that. But as we kind of were working through this process, I'm like, okay, how do we introduce Chris to the audience? Because, it's delicate. I'm kind of coming in after a guy, held it down for almost 2 decades. We got to do it the right way. So Mandis, we launched this idea where we're going to run promos all week, and it's going to be introducing you, and this is how we're going to do it. And I was like, great. So I came in here with Dan, and we cut these promos, and these promos are running all week long. I'm jazzed. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be a part of this radio station. Because when I moved to Tennessee, I was a fan of this radio station, which is like a very unique thing. And I don't think people get that in radio. A lot of times you get a gig, you move to a new city, and then you learn the city. I was in this weird spot where I had a lot of radio experience, and then I had moved to a new city with my wife for her job, and I didn't have a radio gig. So I learned the city just as, a normal guy. And so I knew the city, and that was a blessing. So we're trying to figure out how do we launch this show. So we got to introduce me. So we do that. We run these promos for like a week. At the same time, we had, I believe it was Believers Summit happening in Tampa Bay with Turning Point USA or West Palm Beach, one of the two. They're always in one of the two spots. So Trump is coming to town, and it's like, dude, this all happened so fast. It was insane. And this is my first time hearing Trump speak, and this so that's like a cool moment too. You know what I mean? Like there are these two very cool things happening in my life at the exact same time, and the love and the support that I have from my family really pushed me through all the lack of sleep these past 2 years. But so I'm working this Turning Point event, and I'm seeing President Trump speak, and I know that at the conclusion of this weekend, I am launching my own show on Super Talk. It's like, dude, I was over the moon. I felt like I was floating for probably 3 weeks. It was unbelievable. So as we go through the event, I'm like the entire weekend, like my mind wasn't at the event. My mind was here. And I think I talked about that my first show, but we're gearing up to leave. It was West Palm. We were gearing up to leave. And this just crazy storm comes through, like just insane. The downpour, you couldn't see out the windows at the airport. Everybody's flight starts getting delayed, and I'm like, well, crap. What am I gonna do? I'm in Florida. The show's in Nashville. By the grace of God, the rain clears. I get on the flight. I get to Atlanta. Miss my connecting flight. Missed it. I have my first show that we've been promoting here for a week is happening, and I'm stuck in Atlanta. Missed my connector flight. So I'm like, screw it. I'm gonna figure out how to get there. So I ran to the rental car spot. Okay, like it was planes, trains, and automobiles. And if you've been to the Atlanta airport, like confirmed trains. So I'm on the train. I'm going to the rental car spot. I spent 2 hours in line at the rental car spot. It's like 1:30 in the morning, and then I find out we don't have any rental cars. I'm like, crap. Okay. What do I do now? So I did what any reasonable person would. I Ubered from Atlanta to Murfreesboro because why not? So I don't know if you've Ubered across state lines and road tripped via Uber, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all.
No, absolutely not.
So the Uber thing was like $300. So then I get my my guy. He gets there, and I said, how much are they paying you? He goes, what do you mean? I said, how much is Uber paying you? He's like, well, $125. I was like, perfect. He's like, I'll give you $225. You cancel the ride, I'll give you $225, and everybody I save a little money, you make a little more money. He's like, great, deal. And then my Uber driver. I also introduced him to Tucker Carlson on that 3-hour ride because as
nice.
I'm in the back seat editing audio for the show, and he's like, who is that talking? I've never heard anybody talk like that. I was like, this is Tucker Carlson. And I think I had already made my first new conservative on the ride from Atlanta to Murfreesboro.
Based.
But then I get here, man, and I cannot tell this audience enough how grateful I am for you guys. The way that I've been welcomed into this audience has been unbelievable. And we have so many great people working behind the scenes. We had, I had a great relationship with Mac when I first started, and he really helped me kick things off the right way. Mason has come in here and done a fantastic job. We have the best news team in the country in Joan Jones and Ken Weaver, Matt Murphy, Dan Mandis, Chad Benson. The fact that I get to be a part of this team is overwhelming. It is an honor. So thank you. Thank you very much for 2 years here on WTN. And I hope that we have many, many more. We're going to take a quick break. 2 years down on the Chris Hand Show. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
DOJ cuts to federal funding are about to be codified. We've got that coming up here at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It is 9:21, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name's Chris Hand. Sorry, I had to cut that last break short. If I get too sappy, it
kind of ruins the vibe of what you're.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I could get very sappy, very, very quick.
I was enjoying it.
I blame the kids. I never used to get teary-eyed until I had kids, and so it's their fault. I'm just letting you guys know. But I get teary-eyed over being here and being part of the station and the 2 years that I've had with you guys and this audience. So thank you.
It's almost like it changed your life.
100%. It could not. There's no way I have enough time to explain to you all the ways that this has changed my life. None. But we got things to talk about today, and we got to keep the ball rolling. We got to keep it moving downhill. There's some Epstein stuff that we're going to talk about for sure. Yesterday there was some stuff happening besides the Epstein stuff, and I know the people that don't want to talk about Epstein are like, yeah, we wouldn't know if we listened to your show. It's like fair. But yesterday there were some moves by the Trump administration that were fantastic. Donald Trump signing the Halt Fentanyl Act into law. Let's freaking go. This is going to increase penalties for fentanyl trafficking into the United States. This is a big deal. And we've had conversations about fentanyl here many, many times. And there's a portion of the audience that says, well, screw it. If you're going to make bad choices, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And I just don't subscribe to that. I've had a lot of friends that I've lost over the years back in Massachusetts. And they made their own choices. Like, I'm not discounting that. But they lost their chance at redemption because of a poison that was pumped into what they were using. And everybody does have that chance of redemption until they don't. So Donald Trump signing the Halt Fentanyl Act into law is a huge move in the right direction. And Donald Trump talked about what this act was going to do and why it was important yesterday inside the White House as he signed this into law. This is DJT. Oh, you want to give me a little audio, Mason?
The country and ignore that.
1 second, sorry. I got too many things running at once. You'd think after 2 years I would have this down, but, it's a work in progress. This is DJT yesterday.
Today we strike a righteous blow to the drug dealers, narcotic traffickers, and criminal cartels that we've all been hearing so much about for so many years, and very little has been done. And we take a historic step toward justice for every family touched by the fentanyl scourge as we sign the Halt Fentanyl Act into law. Good job. Good job.
It's crazy. So behind him, he's flanked by families holding up photos of their loved ones that they lost because of fentanyl. And he went and he spent some time with those families, and you can see him in the aftermath of this doing that. But it's like you see these faces and you know the pain, and especially when you have a loved one that's dealing with this drug addiction, which a lot of the country is. It's the new American story with these opioids. It's tough, man. You spend a lot of time mourning the living, and you spend a lot of time waiting for that phone call because you understand what the reality is of the situation. You understand what's in these drugs, what could be in these drugs, and how quickly a life can be snuffed out. Donald Trump aims to end that. We're losing hundreds of thousands of people a year to fentanyl. Donald Trump wants to end that, and to that, I salute him.
Well done.
And the families behind him support him 100%.
Thank you.
You can just see it. And then, Donald Trump being Donald Trump, as he signs the act into law, he makes a joke about the auto pen. He says, you guys see me? You guys see me really signing this? Everybody sees me signing this? Not an auto pen, right?
Very protected. We want to make sure it's signed.
The guy said, we want to make sure it's signed.
People behind you.
And this is not an auto pen, right? That's for sure. That's great. Thank you.
So signed into law, the Halt Fentanyl Act. That is a massive, massive win yesterday by DJT. I'm a huge fan of what he's doing. There's a lot that we can celebrate with Donald Trump. right? There's only one issue currently in the conservative movement that we don't think this administration is handling the right way. And that's fine. We can disagree on that issue and still support the president because he does things like this. Unbelievable things. So I'm looking forward to seeing the surge and the scourge of fentanyl end in this country. Also yesterday, the Crown Prince of Bahrain was in town, and he announced a $17 billion investment during the meeting with Trump, which is a massive, massive deal. They were sitting in the Oval Office, and Donald Trump talking about the relationship that they've had, how it's been tremendous over the years. Bahrain has been a fantastic ally. And when they met with reporters in the Oval Office ahead of that private meeting, Trump said they would discuss a range of topics, including trade and the strikes on Iran. He spoke glowingly about the president of Bahrain and the Crown Prince. And the Crown Prince announced that $17 billion investment.
Announcing $17 billion worth of deals that are coming to the United States. And this is real. This isn't...
it's real money.
These aren't fake deals. These are real deals.
They don't have to borrow the money.
We don't have to borrow it. It's coming in. And it only builds upon a legacy that we're very proud of. We have had a relationship in the civil side between our two countries since 1893 and formally since 1948. So may it long continue, and we look forward to many, many more years of productive partnership. Thank you, Mr. President.
We will have
You
to
honor us.
I mean, it seems like Donald Trump is just unstoppable when it comes to these investments in America. It is unprecedented what he's been able to do in the last 6 months with investments in America. Trillions of dollars. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't tell you when I've ever thought about Bahrain. And here they are in the Oval Office yesterday investing $17 billion in America. Huge. Massive. Donald Trump isn't stopping. The economy is still rocking, and he's continuing to push forward. The economy's been really, really doing well. We saw inflation numbers come out yesterday, lower than they were supposed to, than they were predicted to be, and we also see a lot of good movement. And wait until you hear what the founder of Home Depot had to say. The founder of Home Depot was very much against Trump in the election. Ken Langone, he wasn't a fan of Donald Trump, and that tune has dramatically changed, and it's because of things like this, the record-setting investments in America that we've seen. It's because of the foreign policy strategy of Donald Trump, and side note, it's because of the tariffs. I want to bring you that audio from Kevin Langone when we get back, plus Howard Lutnick, Kevin Hassett, and Scott Bessent, their kind of rundown of what to expect in the economy, what's going on. Plus, Italy also made a massive investment in American energy yesterday. We'll talk about that as well on the way. It is 9:30 on Super Talk, 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's 9:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. A bill clawing back more than $9 billion in previously approved spending has passed the Senate. It happened early this morning. That measure targets federal funding of foreign aid and public broadcasting.
Senate approved the measure at 2 in the morning. There were 51 votes in favor. Republicans Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins joined Democrats in voting no. It's the first time in decades that the Senate has approved a rescissions bill proposed by a president. But because senators made a tweak to keep global AIDS relief funding in place, the bill must now go back to the House for final passage, and it has to be signed by the president by tomorrow night's deadline, or the law says Trump has to spend the money as Congress originally directed.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy there. By the way, that tweak that he mentioned added back in $400,000 for AIDS relief in Africa. It was made to appease Lisa Murkowski, but she voted against it anyway. Capitol Hill police spotted a suspicious vehicle on government grounds yesterday. Turns out that driver, a man from Oregon, had a car full of weapons.
Capitol Police and other agencies are doing a deep dive into the background. 23-year-old Nolan Churin, who was detained near one of the entrances to the U.S. Capitol to try to figure out what he was doing after police discovered an assault-style rifle, a handgun, ammunition, a sword, a bow and arrow, and what appears to be a medieval-style hatchet and spear known as a halberd in his car. He's facing multiple charges, including illegal possession of a high-capacity magazine.
That's ABC's Pierre Thomas. A heads up before this next story because it is disturbing and it involves children. A Murfreesboro woman is accused of having child pornography involving babies that she had shared on Snapchat. Here's WSMV4's Tracy Cornett.
Sophia Carrier worked at a daycare in Rutherford County. This investigation started in March. Carrier was arrested at her work. Court documents say she admitted to uploading and sending the videos with other users online. Carrier is in jail on a $120,000 bond.
That is the latest news. We've got weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here from my friends at the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Now, if you're tired of back pain or knee pain or neck pain ruining your life, then listen up because this could change everything for you. It's called the Big Daddy Trump Special, and this deal is exclusively from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. You never heard anything like it. Just $12. $12. We'll get you a full exam, x-rays if needed, a well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment. That's right, only $12. You're not going to beat this deal anywhere else. And Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley aren't going to give up on you. They're going to get rid of that pain for good. Just like Trump never gave up on America, they'll never give up on you. Their patients say it all the time. Why didn't I come here first? How come doctors don't explain it like you guys do? The difference is going to be apparent to see the first time you go in there. Back pain, neck pain, sciatica, numbness, bulging disc. They'll treat it all with non-surgical spinal decompression, robot lasers, anti-gravity machines. What you won't find is surgery, injections, or painkillers. Grab your MRI and get ready to finally understand your condition and fix it. 615-246-5009. 615-246-5009. The Wellness Institute of Nashville has my seal of approval on this deal. It could change your life. Painisbad.com.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
Are angels real or a figment of the imagination? Angel means messenger. Angel or angels are mentioned over 350 times in the Bible, and because all Scripture is God-breathed, we know that angels are real and were created to glorify and to serve God. When Joseph doubted how Mary became pregnant and that she was to give birth to Jesus, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream. Do not be afraid. The child within her has been conceived by the Holy Spirit. Angels bring God's messages to people. Protect God's people, offer encouragement, give guidance, carry out punishment, patrol the earth, and fight the forces of evil. But there are also bad angels. Satan is an angel of high rank and led many angels in a rebellion against God. Although angels are powerful, they are not to be worshipped. Learn more about good and bad angels by scanning the QR code.
937.
Satan knows Scripture
Super
better
Talk
than some
99.7
Christians, and for that
WTN. Hey,
reason,
how are you? My name's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC, water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere. iHeartRadio, TuneIn, the FM dial. You can watch us. Super Talk TV is live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. Hit like, hit subscribe, and share the show with your friends. I appreciate it when you do so. I got a lot of kids to feed. Those likes and those subscribes, that's biscuits in their mouths, baby. Biscuits in their mouths.
Bro, fills the plate.
You got to do it. You got to
do it.
Extra
dollop of gravy, maybe.
Don't do it for me. Do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids.
Do it for the kids.
It's for the kids.
They're growing. They're growing. We need you to help.
They need strong bones with those biscuits.
Yes.
Because that's what builds strong bones.
100%. All right, so a lot to get to today. We'll talk a little Epstein on the way, but right now I do want to focus on the economy. Howard Lutnick is I don't know how to put this. Impressed? Is he impressed with the tariffs from Donald Trump? I mean, he's the greatest salesman on tariffs when it comes to Donald Trump, and I like Howard Lutnick a lot. But he says that Trump is smashing down barriers that have been holding American business back for decades.
President Trump is smashing down the barriers that have held American business back for 80 years. Tariffs were on America. So when we tried to sell elsewhere, there were tariffs. And when they tried to sell here, no tariffs. So our industries went overseas. President Trump is reversing that trend. 0 tariffs away. Those are the deals he's made. Vietnam, he announced Indonesia just this morning. No tariffs there. They pay tariffs here. Switching the asymmetry our way. Yeah. Let's bring industry back. And that's going to unleash our farmers, our ranchers, our fishermen, and our industries are going to blow out. And that is what the stock market understands. Donald Trump understands business in America.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Howard Lutnick is right. And while the left and the experts told us that the tariffs were going to cause inflation, we're yet to see it. Still waiting. I don't know. I feel like the skeleton in the rocking chair. I'm still waiting. We haven't seen the inflation tick up at all. In fact, we had inflation numbers coming out yesterday, and they look pretty darn good. Not going to lie to you. This was CNBC yesterday.
PPI comes in unchanged. We're expecting up 0.2. Unchanged would be the smallest inflationary wholesale increase since it was minus 0.1 in March of this year. Strip out food and energy, it remains 0. Unchanged, 0. And that would comp towards April when we were minus 0.2, which, by the way, was lowest inflation rate going all the way back to April of 2020. If we strip out food, energy, and trade, unchanged. That also would comp towards April of this year. Now, let's take a bigger view, year over year. Year over year headline, expected 2.5, comes in 0.2 light. 2.3%. That would be the lightest in the Wayback Machine going to September of last year. If we strip out food and energy, up 2.6, a tenth light, and that is 0.4 less than the rear view mirror, which was up 3%. That 2.6, well, we have to go back to July of last year.
So, I mean, a lot of numbers. A lot of numbers from the numbers people. But what the numbers tell us is what the experts said wasn't going to happen. Inflation hasn't risen. Yeah, we're not launching ourselves into a recession because of tariffs. You know, we're just not. You heard Howard Lutnick talk about the Indonesia trade deal. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. You know, the aging population of China is going to see a country like Indonesia completely leapfrog them when it comes to manufacturing. We're gonna see that in our lifetimes. I do believe, and it's a massive deal. The tariffs on these countries, massive deal. Not causing inflation. What it is causing is record revenues at the federal level. Record. $100 billion in tariffs coming in. Massive. 6 months. 6 months we've been able to do this. And the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett, said, well, what you're seeing is what Donald Trump predicted since January, that we weren't going to see inflation fly all the way up. We were going to see trade balanced. And this is Kevin Hassett.
I can say that what's been going on from the beginning all the way back to January is that people have been saying that the president's trade policy is going to cause a spike in inflation. And that hasn't happened. In fact, inflation has gone down. We've got inflation at the lowest level in something like 4 years. And I've talked over and over in television hits that you could, cut and paste if you'd like, about the economics of why it is that if you have a trade deficit with a country for many, many years, then by definition they're supplying goods to you inelastically, which means that if you put a tariff on, then the suppliers of that country are going to bear a big chunk of that tariff, and that's the only really explanation for what we're seeing. The Council of Economic Advisors, for example, just put out a report that said, in fact, the price of imported goods has been going down, not up, during this period where we've raised, almost a couple $100 billion in tariffs. That's something of a puzzle for the people who believe that tariffs are going to cause inflation, and I think that the people who continue to say that should think about why that happened. Why is it that inflation went down while the tariff revenue went up? And I think when they do that, they'll understand that the story that I've been describing is accurate.
I mean, there's really two choices that you can make if you believe that Donald Trump and his tariffs were going to cause inflation. If you believe that, your choices are as follows. You double down, or you admit that you were wrong. That's pretty much where we stand. Now, granted, a lot on the left and a lot of these so-called experts won't have the humility to admit that they were wrong. And I get it. But that's not everybody. There are people out there that admit that they were wrong when it comes to Donald Trump and the economy. One of those individuals is legendary Home Depot founder Ken Langone. And he said, listen, when we first got into the Trump administration, my big concern was the tariffs. And he goes, but since then, you got to give Trump his flowers because he's been crushing it.
Initially, my concern was I don't like tariffs.
That's what I mean.
I like free trade.
Right.
However, I think, damn it, give Trump credit. His instincts are good. Some of these things need to be fixed. Take Germany. Take Japan. God bless America. 80 years ago when the war was over, we made our mind up. We're not going to be the conquering hero. We're going to go in and help these countries rebuild themselves. And we did. To our credit, we did. Japanese, Japan, look at what happened. They're on their feet now. There aren't many American cars sold in Germany.
Facts.
But whatever's sold in Germany, there's a 10% tariff. Every other car in America is a Mercedes. I got a Mercedes. I got an Audi. I can name you all the cars we drive. Most of them are foreign.
Yep.
Now, they sell a hell of a lot more cars here than we do there. 2.5% tariff. That's wrong.
Yeah, and Donald Trump saw that and said that's wrong as well. Yet Donald Trump is the only president that's set out to fix it. You got to give him his flowers. He's been crushing it on the economy. Crushing it. And I like seeing a guy like Ken Langone who said, I didn't like it. I was nervous. But to be honest with you, his instincts were correct. Donald Trump was right. And I know people get tired of hearing it, but Donald Trump has been pretty much right about everything. His instincts are good. And he continues. Ken Langone continues. He says, Trump has a real chance to go down as one of the greatest presidents in history because of how he's been handling this economy.
Look, let me tell you right now, I am sold on Trump. In fact, I'll say this. I think he's got a good shot at going down in history as one of our best presidents ever.
That is a real turnaround because you didn't want to vote for him.
I tell you the reason. I want to tell you, I'm a believer. What I'm seeing happening is absolutely nothing short of a great thing. And there's a beat. People are walking with more bounce in there. It's all around.
I gave you quite a bit of grief.
Huh?
I gave you grief.
You give me grief?
I gave you grief when it was a binary choice. You're still complaining about Trump and it was a binary choice. It's like, are you kidding me?
Knowledge implies one thing. When you made a mistake, admit it.
Okay.
I think this guy is turning out to be a president.
Right.
One of the pilots on that miraculous trip to Iran that we wiped out, whatever the hell we wiped out.
Right.
He said, you're the only guy that in the presidency that would have done what you did. One of the pilots said that.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's probably right.
Yeah, he is. He is. And to be honest, I don't think any other president would have been able to do what Trump did in Iran and not get us into a quagmire. Trump did what he did, and then he got a peace deal. I mean, yes, Donald Trump has the opportunity to go down as one of the greatest presidents in history. You look at what he's doing with the economy. You look at what he's doing with foreign policy. You look at what he's doing with the border. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, there are some red flags and some issues, and it really only revolves around Epstein currently. And I do think that they misjudged that situation. I don't think that Trump read the room the right way, which is tough because usually he's the best at doing that. But that aside, what can you point to that Donald Trump has done that hasn't been on point and benefiting America? You're going to have a tough time coming up with that list. A real tough time. And it just keeps going and going and going. Just yesterday, we saw another huge win for American energy. This is on top of what we saw in Pittsburgh 2 days ago. But yesterday, Italy agreed to buy $15 billion of good old USA natural gas, that LNG. And they did so because of the tariff threats. They did so. Venture Global will supply 2 million metric tons a year of LNG to Italian state-controlled energy group Eni. The two companies said on Wednesday the deal is Eni's first long-term contract for LNG coming from the United States after Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni told President Donald Trump in April that Rome would increase imports of LNG as a way to improve trade relations with North America. These world leaders understand that we need to level this out. They know what time it is, and they know Trump isn't playing around, and you're seeing it. You're seeing it when the Crown Prince of Bahrain comes to town and says, I'm going to invest $17 billion. You're seeing it when Italy goes, well, all right, we'll take $15 billion worth of liquid natural gas. You're seeing it. Yet the so-called experts will still, they'll still talk their trash. And then they'll be confused why Trump is so popular. I mean, listen, even in light of the Epstein stuff, Trump's popularity is only rising among Republicans. And Harry Enton was covering this on CNN earlier today. New polling data. Trump is doing better with Republicans. Listen to this.
I mean, look, I think this one surprised me a bit because of all of these complaints online going after Trump and the Epstein files. You might think his approval ratings were going down, Republicans. If anything, they're going up. Republicans who approve of Trump, look at our CNN poll. The prior one, 86%. The one out this week, 88% were Republicans. How about Quinnipiac? The prior poll, 87% approve of Republicans. This week out, 90% were Republicans. If anything, Donald Trump's approval rating has gone up since this whole Epstein saga started. He is at the apex or close there too in terms of his popularity with Republican voters, Epstein files, complaints or not.
I mean, and this is a big deal. This is a massive deal because this is what we've been saying. I can criticize the administration for how they're handling Epstein and still support the president. Because, quite frankly, I don't think a lot of the blame on how Epstein's been handled goes to the feet of the president. I think that lands firmly on Pam Bondi's desk right next to where the Epstein files were or were not. Let's be perfectly honest. That's where the blame lands on how Epstein has been handled. It's Pam Bondi. Always has been. I wish the president didn't tweet out or Truth Social what he did yesterday, the truth where he said, well, you're my past supporter. It's like, no, I'm your current supporter. I'm one of your biggest supporters. And I know many in the listening audience feel the exact same way. People have risked a lot to support Donald Trump. They've risked jobs. They've risked friendships. They've risked their families. Do you know how many people have been divorced over their support for Donald Trump? How many people don't talk to their kids over support for Donald Trump? How many people have been labeled domestic terrorists because they support Donald Trump? Or racist, bigot, transphobe, homophobe, on down the line, all the names. And we still continue to support the man. And I think that's why that True Social post yesterday was, Dan said it best earlier this morning on Nashville's Morning News. It was a gut punch. It was a gut punch. Even with that aside, you can't deny the positive impacts that Donald Trump has had on this country. Unprecedented in the first 6 months, from the economy to the border and down the line, foreign policy, everywhere. He's been slamming it down. And I'm a huge fan. I wish he would handle the Epstein stuff differently. We're going to talk about that in a little while. But when it comes to the economy and immigration, crushing it. Wait until you hear some of the latest numbers on immigration. Spoiler alert, it's a 0. We'll talk about that when we get back. It's 9:52. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. It is vacation season, and you don't want to let a plumbing disaster ruin your peace of mind while you're away. I mean, that would be the worst. Right now, Busy Bee is going to offer you that peace of mind at a great price. It's a smart Wi-Fi water shutoff valve, installed by their expert techs for just $12.49 this July only. That is serious peace of mind at a great price. And maybe you're just looking to upgrade your comfort at home. You need that new HVAC system. Well, if you get it from Busy Bee, you'll also land a free air duct fogging and a UV light home treatment because clean air matters. Maybe you agree, clean air matters, but I don't need the HVAC system. Well, if you buy a middle tier air duct cleaning right now from Busy Bee, you'll land a deluxe air duct cleaning package for free. They'll upgrade you for free. Busy Bee takes care of their customers. If you need to talk to Busy Bee, you need to call them today. 615-775-7833. 615-775-7833. This summer, you got to trust the pros at Busy Bee, where comfort and community always comes first. BusyBeeHVAC.com.
Well, looks like there's more changes coming for TSA screening at the airport. Also, chances are pretty good that the DOGE cuts that were just approved by the Senate last night will also pass in the House. That's coming up here at 10 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
9:58 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan, I got some throat coat in here.
I'm gonna need
that
it.
Mandis left.
Yeah.
Feels
It's not signed by him, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I can autograph it if you want me to.
Sure, I'd like that.
You got it. I feel so bad. Every time I hear Joan crack the mic for the newscast, I'm like, oh, poor Joan. Poor Joan.
Yeah, it's what you have when I visited some friends and some family over the weekend, and this is what I came home with.
Sharing is caring.
That's what they say. They could care less, and I'd be happy.
I know. I feel you. Hey, real quick, I got a Maha moment for you.
Yeah.
Donald Trump put out a True Social post yesterday saying that Coke was going to be removing the high fructose corn syrup.
Yes.
And going back to cane sugar.
I love that. My son sent me that. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. You can still get Coke with cane sugar. You just got to buy the glass bottle Mexican version at the grocery store.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. But he said on True Social, I've been speaking to Coca-Cola about using real cane sugar in Coke in the United States, and they have agreed to do so. I'd like to thank all those in authority at Coca-Cola. This will be a very good move by them. You'll see. It's just better.
It tastes better.
It really
tastes so much better.
does.
Yeah.
It really does. Am I wrong? But the advent of high fructose corn syrup was really as a way to subsidize the corn industry here in America.
Oh, I think that's probably. I mean, it sounds like that's right.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
I'll double check during the commercial break. I will say this though: Coke has put out a statement said we didn't say that.
What?
Yeah, I saw that last night. They didn't confirm or deny. They did not confirm or deny. They said we appreciate the president's excitement, but we're not there yet. I know. Crazy, right? my reaction was, oh, what the bleep?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? But yeah, no, there's conflicting reports going around. Trump said they're going to get rid of high fructose corn syrup, which I'm a huge fan of. But then Coke said, maybe not.
I bet they do it.
They have to at this point.
And
they have to.
You were right about that.
Oh, about the corn industry?
AI says that's true.
Yep. Even when I'm not sure, I end up being right. It's crazy. 10 o'clock, Joan Jones on the way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 10 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Watch it at Percy Warner Park this morning. They're still doing that milling and paving work, so Old Hickory Boulevard, both directions, very slow at Chickering Road. It's right now 85 degrees. We have a heat advisory for today. The heat index going above 100. A woman is facing charges for causing a crash that injured her children. That crash happened yesterday morning on Harding Pike. WSMV4's Marius Payton.
Metro Police say 35-year-old Carlisha Norwood was weaving in and out of traffic when she crossed over the double yellow line and collided head-on with a Toyota Tacoma. Her two children were taken to Vanderbilt with life-threatening injuries. Police say she admitted to taking prescription medicine before the crash.
And she'll be charged upon her release from the hospital. Environmental and civil rights groups filing an appeal to the permits that were given to Elon Musk for his supercomputer facility in Memphis. The groups say that emissions from turbines are creating a stench in the majority black community. Shelby County Health Department issued those permits for the turbines earlier this month. The Trump administration has cause to celebrate given the latest snapshot on the economy.
In the week ending July 12th, 221,000 out-of-work Americans signed up for unemployment benefits, 7,000 fewer than the week before, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Analysts were expecting initial claims to rise. Meanwhile, the Census Bureau says retail sales were 0.6% higher in June than in May and well above June of 2024.
That's ABC's Jim Ryan. The House will take another vote on the legislation that the Senate passed overnight that codifies the DOGE cuts to USAID and public broadcasting. and it looks like it has a good chance of passing in the House as well.
I've talked to some hardline House Republicans who typically are spending hawks, who typically would be sticks in the mud with any kind of bill that was rewritten by the Senate, who say, in general, they seem okay with this language because in broad, it's $9 billion plus worth of cuts.
That's ABC's Jay O'Brien. Well, first it was the shoes. Now the Department of Homeland Security is hinting that you may be able to bring a big bottle of shampoo in your carry-on. The liquids rule may be about to change, according to comments made by Kristi Noem on News Nation last night. The small bottle rule has been in place since 2006. And breaking news this morning. Singer Connie Francis has died. Her publicist says the star of the 50s and 60s last posted on Facebook on July 4th from a hospital where she said she was in severe hip pain. Connie Francis was 87. That is the latest news. We've got your weather up next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking. I lost 70 pounds and my friend lost 20 pounds in the first 2 months.
Wow, what are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99.
It's 10:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. We love those guys. Love all of our sponsors. Make sure that you shop with them. I mean, listen, if they're advertising on this station, they're patriots. So it's a good reason to spend your money with them. Spend your money with people that don't hate you. Betterwater.com. Listen, we got a lot to cover today. I want to talk about immigration. I don't know if you know this. Donald Trump didn't need a new law. He didn't need a new bill. He didn't need any of that to secure the border. It's pretty amazing because I thought we weren't going to be able to do this without one of those fancy bills, right? I thought we weren't going to be able to do it. No, it turns out we were very much able to do it just by enforcing the laws on the books.
Also tonight, new border data for the month of June highlights the lowest month of encounters ever recorded.
ever recorded. Ever. Forever, ever, 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 ever.
Customs and Border Protection says it is the second month in a row of zero releases of illegal aliens into the U.S., compared to almost 28,000 releases in June of last year.
I mean, that alone is just absolutely insane and mind-numbing. So we had zero releases in June of this year, 28,000 releases in June of 2024. Yeah, the Democrats absolutely aided and abetted an invasion. Let's be perfectly honest. But Donald Trump, I mean, listen, he said it in 2024. You don't need anything to secure the border. You don't need a new bill. You don't need more money. Maybe all you need is a new president. Do you remember this? I remember this.
Our country's being destroyed by incompetent politicians. And, you know, all they have to do, remember this, when they say a bill, she always said the bill wasn't passed because the Senate wouldn't want to go against Trump. He called, it had nothing to do with me. The bill was no good. But listen, all the president has to do is she gets to the White House, wakes him up. They call because if it's after 4 o'clock, he sleeps after 4 o'clock.
True.
Get him the hell down to the Oval Office and say, President signed the bill. All he has to do is say, the borders are closed. Tell that to the Great Border Patrol. The borders are closed, and those borders, that's what I did. I didn't have a bill. I had the best border maybe ever. I didn't have a bill. I just said, close the borders now. And they were closed. You don't need a bill for that.
No, and he's proving it again. And we haven't even seen ICE or DHS at full strength. That money's starting to flow from the big, beautiful bill. This is going to ramp up. You didn't need it. All you had to do is enforce the laws in the books. Donald Trump. Right again. Again, there's you can complain about the Epstein stuff, and we will. We'll talk about that. We will. I don't like the True Social post. I don't like the way he's downing supporters who want answers. I don't, and I'm very confused by it. To be perfectly honest with you, it seems very uncharacteristic of DJT. But he's excelling everywhere else. They're just crushing. They're crushing it. Stephen Miller was talking about it yesterday. And, you know, it's not just the fact that people aren't coming into the country. It's that people are voluntarily leaving the country. We got about a million self-deportations so far.
Well, based on the labor force data, so as you know, under the Biden administration, all job growth on net since Biden came into office went to foreigners, e.g., they went to the migrants. Under Trump, all job gains have gone to Americans. Looking at labor force data, we believe there's already been 1 million self-deportations.
Wow.
So we are well on our way here. If we stay the course, Jesse, and if illegal aliens understand the consequences of staying versus the opportunities of leaving, we're going to see millions and millions more self-deportations. Because if you stay, here's the consequences. You face sudden arrest, sudden deportation, you face the potential garnishment of all of your income, all of your wages, the loss of your property, incarceration and imprisonment for immigration and other crimes. If you choose to self-deport, you can go back home. You do have the opportunity to apply for legal entry if you wish to do so in the future, and you're going to get a $1,000 check on your way out. So it's a very clear choice, and we're seeing over 1 million illegal aliens are clearly choosing just to go back to their countries.
I mean, I feel like the choice is pretty clear. You got silver bracelets on one side or a $1,000 check and a flight home on the other. 1 million illegal aliens have taken the latter. I think it's a smart choice. I think it's a smart play. I do. And you're seeing it over and over and over again. But it's funny, though, the way CNN frames it, it's so sad. It's so sad that the Trump era policies are working. The self-deportation is working. They ran this puff piece on a family packing up their bags, self-deporting to Mexico, and CNN's heartbreaking stuff. Oh, it's so sad. Nope. You can leave on your own, or we can assist you in leaving. It's really up to you. But CNN ran this puff piece on a family self-deporting to Mexico. Listen to this.
These are the main pictures from our house that we didn't want to just throw away.
Sasha Mendoza has the impossible task of packing up her family's life in Pittsburgh into a handful of suitcases.
It's really hard to tell a 4-year-old that they can't bring their toys or their stuffed animal. There's just not enough room. We can't put a stuffed animal and then have no pants. I've literally never felt anxiety the way that I have in the last few years here.
So you are saying bye to the U.S. for good?
For good, yeah.
So long. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Au revoir. Bon voyage. We won't miss you. Sorry. I probably took that one a little too far. But CNN wants me to be sad, and I'm not sad. You're making the right choice, and I don't know, I counted 4 people. That's $4,000. Congratulations, buy some new toys on the other side. Sorry. I got to pack up my family. Oh, jeez. I've done that a few times. We're always moving. People move. If you didn't come here in the first place illegally, well, this wouldn't be an issue. They keep going, though. Oh, we felt so much anxiety. So much anxiety. Joe Biden was going to make us citizens, and now we have to go back to Mexico. Oh. Have you heard that stuff where people will come to America and we have so much junk in our food that they gain a lot of weight eating the same stuff? There's a silver lining here for the mom in the story. She's going to go back home. She's going to drop some LBs.
Yeah, for good.
Fearful of President Donald Trump's immigration crackdown, Sasha, her husband Julio, and their 3 kids are leaving behind.
Oh, 3 kids. That's $5,000.
The life they built together.
What are you the most excited for in Mexico? The pool. The pool? And the beach. And the beach?
Julio is an undocumented immigrant from Mexico. Sasha and their 3 children are all U.S. citizens. They decided to make the move together only moments after Trump took office.
There was an executive order being signed, and that was her call first. Said, like, what do you think about moving to Mexico? And I said, honestly, at this point, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, good. Oh, so the Trump policies work. Yeah. CNN, so sad. Sorry, guys. Dad snuck into the country. Dad made a bad decision that impacted the family. You know, that happens every day. So you got to deal with those consequences. And no amount of puff pieces are going to make me feel bad for them. I can't. And this is a choice that they're making, right? Like, the mom and the kids could stay. They're citizens. It's the dad that's the issue. So I don't feel bad as much as CNN would like me to feel bad. I don't. In fact, I think we need to keep going further and further. I love what the Justice Department did in Mississippi. Did you see this? In Mississippi, the Justice Department just fined a company for favoring foreign visa workers over Americans. Yup. Sign me up for that. Like that. DOJ has fined a Mississippi-based company for favoring foreign workers on H-2A visas over American job applicants. This is what it's all about, man. Let's reindustrialize this country and let's put Americans back to work. This is what the movement has been about. It's been about rebuilding that middle class. And this week, the DOJ announced a settlement agreement with H-2A Complete 2, Inc., a Mississippi firm that specializes in funneling foreign H-2A visa workers to the United States farms after the department prosecutors found that Americans were being discriminated against. American workers were seeking jobs in their own country and they deserve priority, Pam Bondi said. This Department of Justice will continue to protect our country's workers from unlawful discrimination in favor of foreign nationals. The settlement requires the company to pay a $25,000 fine, not much, but it's a good start, and revise its employment practices and throw out its excessive job requirements and postings that are aimed at weeding American applicants out of the hiring process. We can bash Pam Bondi for how she's handling Epstein, but let's praise her for how she's handling this. That's a huge win, and we need to see more of it. While all this is happening, the left is they're hand-wringing. They're so sad. They're very upset. Ana Navarro was on CNN. Ana Navarro is she's the Republican from The View. Yeah. Let's listen to the Republican from The View tell a white man that his opinion doesn't matter because he's white, and talk about the reign of terror in America.
Also, I want to respond to you saying that I was hyperbolic when I talked about a reign of terror.
That is hyperbolic.
No, it might be hyperbolic for you as a white man.
Oh, okay.
It's certainly not hyperbolic for me as a Latino. No, I'm not being.
I mean, now imagine if the shoe was on the other foot, right? CNN would go to commercial break, and then we'd come back, and this guy, I don't even know who the guy is. Poor guy, just catching strays out there for being white. If it was on the other foot, right? And he said, listen, you're way too close to this because you're Latina, and so your opinion here doesn't matter because clearly, racially, you're going to favor the other side. Like they would lose their minds. But Ana Navarro, the Republican from The View, can say, you're a white man, so your opinion isn't valid.
Racist.
It's incredible to dismiss my opinion for being a white man.
No, I'm not dismissing your opinion. I am telling you that the Latino community, the brown community in America.
Speak in one voice.
Okay, well, let me speak with my voice. I mean, you said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond.
Racially, sure.
I'm not. You being a white man as an insult.
When you invoke it to dismiss my
being
opinion,
a white man as an insult.
When you invoke it,
do you think Latinos are living under circumstances that other people may not be right now in this country?
We're about to have a whole conversation about that very thing. But I just want to make a point that, Brad, all she's saying is that her view of the situation is different from yours. I don't think that's an insult.
She basically said I'm wrong because I'm a white man.
She just said I see it differently. She said I see it differently from you. Which
I mean, it's unbelievable. We get accused of being racist all the time, and then they say, "Shut up, whitey." All right, cool, deal. All right, like it blows my mind how hypocritical these people are all the time. You're racist. Shut up for being white. Oh, all right, deal. Meanwhile, if we were to talk about the 830% increase in assaults on ICE, and if Ana Navarro said, well, I don't want to deal with that. And you go, oh, yeah, because you're Latino. That would be an issue. That would be a massive issue, obviously. But assaults are up on ICE. Stephen Miller was talking about this yesterday. It was 700%. Now it's at 830%, and there's only one party to blame for that. That is the Democrat Party. The rhetoric that is coming from the left is absolutely ramping up tensions with the unhinged elements of their base, and we're watching it happen and unfold in real time. Stephen Miller on Fox News.
We are deporting child predators and child rapists from these communities in mass. We are removing drug dealers. We are removing gang members. We have multiple foreign terrorist organizations like the Sinaloa cartel, like Tren de Aragua, like MS-13, that were imported in vast numbers by the Biden administration to rape, kill, maim, and murder innocent Americans. So that's the dystopia that we are healing, that we are resolving by getting these monsters out of our country. And as we are doing that under President Trump's leadership, Democrats are leading an insurrectionist mob to try to murder ICE officers. I can't be clear enough about this. The rhetoric from Governor Newsom, the rhetoric from Karen Bass, the rhetoric from Democrat leaders in Washington is directly encouraging and incentivizing murderous migrant mobs to attack ICE officers. When they describe ICE officers, these heroes, as some kind of fascist force, some kind of Gestapo force, they are using the language that is meant to justify violence. ICE officers are literally in real time liberating American communities. Once peaceful, once idyllic American communities from an invasion force. I cannot imagine a nobler, a more righteous activity for any American to do than to go into these communities, face off against hostile mobs, and literally free them from the forces of destruction and violence.
He's not wrong. These ICE agents should be welcomed as liberators. They're getting the child predators, the murderers, the gang members, the terrorists off the street. And what they're doing, instead of catching praise, people are shooting at them. And people are throwing rocks at them. And they're being demonized. And it's all because of the rhetoric of the left. Now Stephen Miller said angry migrant mobs. And yeah, that's one portion of it. But there's a whole other aspect of Antifa and Trantifa and the organization tactics of the radical elements of the left. They're being incited by the rhetoric of these leaders as well. And it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. And you know what? Their violence isn't going to slow down ICE. ICE is going to keep going and doing the job that they need to do because that's what President Trump said needs to be done. That's where Tom Homan lands as well. We got a lot more to talk about on the way, but we're going to talk about immigration a little bit more. Some of those Antifa members that attacked ICE officers have been caught. I'll bring you the update when we get back. It's 10:22. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at United Structural Systems. Are you seeing cracks in your foundation, water in your crawl space or basement? Well, you need to call the best. You need to call USS. It's worked for 30,000 homeowners across Middle Tennessee and Kentucky, and here's why. When you get an expert from USS showing up at your house, you're getting just that, an expert in foundation repair and an expert in waterproofing. You're not going to get a sales guy. Nobody's going to show up to your house worried about about their quota. They're going to show up to your house worried about your issues, the waterproofing, the foundation, and they're going to get it done. Now, you might try to ignore these problems, but if you do, they're only going to get worse. That water in your crawl space, sure, it might dry up when it gets hot, but it's going to come back when it rains again, and it could lead to mold. It could lead to wood rot. It could lead to some serious problems down the road. So whether it's foundation or waterproofing, don't wait. If you see the warning signs, you need to call USS today. And when they leave, they're going to leave behind a warranty that is good for life. This is how they stay locally owned and in the game for 30 years. If you see the signs, don't wait. Call USS 615-488-7855. That's 615-488-7855. United Structural Systems, keeping homes dry and stable. USS always guarantees their best. USSTN.com. That's Joan Jones in the newsroom. It is 1028 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. So some of those fugitive Antifa members that were involved in that Texas attack have been caught. I don't know if you've seen pictures of these individuals, but Antifa not exactly setting their best. Will you throw this picture up on the screen for me, Sam? I want everybody to see these Antifa members. And if anybody in the chat can tell me which one of these individuals is a lady, I would appreciate the help. Very confused. Very confused.
Where's Steven Tyler when you need him?
Honestly. Benjamin Hanil Song, an Antifa-linked suspect accused of carrying out an ambush shooting attack outside the ICE Prairieland Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas, has been captured by authorities. Song, he's the one here on the left where it says captured here if you're watching on the Super Talk TV stream. Song, 32, of Dallas, was on the run after allegedly shooting up an ICE facility in Alvarado, Texas, with others in an Antifa cell. He has now been captured by the FBI. Thank you. The FBI in Dallas wrote, FBI Dallas safely apprehended Benjamin Song this afternoon in Dallas. Thank you to all of our law enforcement partners for aiding us in this search and apprehension. His arrest is the result of our determination to protect not only the community, but also our law enforcement partners that were targets of a coordinated attack. Up to 14 people have been charged in connection to this attack on the officers, per WFAA. Song has been charged with aggravated assault, attempted murder, aiding in the commission of terrorism, as well as engaging in organized criminal activity. He's also accused of having bought 4 of the guns that were used in connection with the shooting attack. This is a massive win, and I hope that they throw the book at this individual and he never sees the light of day again. We saw this happen on July 4th. These ICE officials were lured into an area near the ICE facility and then were fired upon by these Antifa members dressed in all black and heavily armed. This was the incident where one officer was shot in the neck, but by the grace of God was able to survive. I hope that they continue throwing the books at these losers. And I would also say to the Trump administration, they need to step up and designate Antifa a terrorist organization, because if you look at what they're doing, it is textbook domestic terrorism. 10:30, this is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I have some thoughts on Superman that we're going to get to in the lightning round. Just letting you know. Hey, it's Chris Hand here for my friends at Cover Nash. Have you talked to Shane Ring yet about lowering your health insurance costs? You really need to. Shane can do it for you. Lickety split. Yeah, that's how quick it's going to be when you talk to Shane Ring. Shane has 20 years of experience in the health insurance game. He's going to shop 75 different companies for you to find you the best price and fit for your budget and health needs. There's actually a new plan on the market that Shane has access to that will bring your deductible down to just $250. I mean, if you're used to paying $5,000 or $8,000, $250 sounds really, really good. And the best part is, with all of this stuff, you don't have to wait for open enrollment. You could actually talk to Shane Ring over at Cover Nash and start saving money today, right now. This is one of the biggest misconceptions in health insurance. Oh, gotta wait till open enrollment. You don't. Don't be fooled. Talk to Shane Ring today. Whether you're self-employed, between jobs, or just plain old overpaying, Shane can save you 30 to 60% on your monthly premiums. Stop overpaying. Start calling Shane Ring. 615-465-0023, or you can hit covernash.com. I'm a phone call guy myself. 615-465-0023. 615-465-0023. Affordable, quality coverage managed by you, not the government. Covernash.com.
How would you like to have Jesus Christ pray for you? Did you know that Jesus Christ does pray for you if you're a Christian? Hebrews 7:25 says, "Therefore he is able also to save forever those who draw near to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them." In Scripture, intercession means to pray on behalf of. Jesus Christ is your advocate. An advocate comes to our aid or pleads our case to a judge, offering support and counsel and interceding for us when necessary. In other verses, Jesus calls the Holy Spirit our advocate. Just like you talk to yourself, when Jesus talks to himself, it's prayer. The Bible says no matter what you go through today, next week, or next year, Jesus is praying for you if you have trusted him as your Savior. He's on your side.
It's 1036, Super Talk, 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. You want to join the show? 615-737-9986. That's 615-737-9986. The show is brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. I got a couple people that have been waiting on the line for a minute to talk about the Epstein files. Let's start with Philip in Manchester. What's up, Phil?
Hey, how's it going today, Chris?
Good, man. Thanks for holding. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Hey, I just had a different take on it. So I was as mad and upset as everybody else when it first happened.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like, he's so out of character with the response to it that I think the powers that be, the global elites or whatever you want to call them, have figured out what his kryptonite is.
And what's that?
And
what's the kryptonite?
Whatever it is. I don't know, take out Melania, take out Trump, or take out Barron. They could, I'm sure collectively, they could collapse the U.S. economy if they wanted to, with all the money and control they have. So they gave him an offer. You can do what you want to do with America, but if you fight us on this, we're taking you down, or whatever it is that you're not willing to sacrifice, we're taking it.
I mean, I guess you could say that. I think the implications of that are pretty dark. And I also don't know. I also don't know if Donald Trump is going to. I don't know. I mean, he's already been shot at.
He's willing to sacrifice his own life. He's willing to sacrifice his fortune, but he's not Superman. He's not a god. There's something that he's not willing to sacrifice.
So you think that somebody behind the scenes has threatened him in some sort of way?
Yeah, big people. I'm talking about people we'll never know. We don't see their faces. We don't know their names.
Don't look behind the curtain. That kind of stuff.
Right.
And listen, your guess is as good as mine, Phil. And at this point, we're all just speculating. I appreciate the call, 615-737-9986. We're just speculating. I mean, I don't know. I've seen theories. Victor Marx, you know Victor Marx? Victor Marx he's a great guy. I've met him a few times, and hell of a story. But he posted yesterday, he's like, you got to understand, Trump has the blackmail, and now he has the leverage on all these people. And it's like, okay, that's a theory too. I get the theory. I also don't like it. I don't like the implications of it. I think that all these theories are just because of the lack of information. We're forced to speculate. And it feels like this administration owes us a bit more transparency. Chip Roy, representative out of Texas, said the Trump administration needs better transparency regarding the Jeffrey Epstein case. This is shortly after Trump doubled down on calling the files a hoax made up by Obama and Hillary and Brennan and Comey. He was speaking with reporters outside the steps on the U.S. Capitol on Tuesday, and he kind of stumbled over his answer a little bit when he was asked if he thinks the DOJ has been transparent enough on the Epstein matter. But this is Chip Roy outside the Capitol yesterday, calling for more transparency from this administration.
As a member of the Judiciary Committee, do you think that the Justice Department has been transparent enough when it comes to the Epstein matter?
I'll let the Department of Justice continue to carry out what they need to do. I do think there needs to be more transparency. I do think that all needs to move forward, and I think the administration needs to address that. But we'll keep talking to them about what they're going to do.
Their memo wasn't good enough for you?
We'll see. We want to see more information out of
that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching on the stream, you watched Chip Roy walk a tightrope. I mean, he was nervous answering the question, and I don't blame him, because you understand that there is an absolute division right now between the boss, as some people are saying, and the base. And it seems like the base wants more information on the Epstein files, and the boss wants the base to move on. So Chip Roy and a lot of reps are caught between a rock and a hard place. Do I piss off the boss, or do I piss off the base? So you're definitely walking tightropes. I mean, that there's no way around that. You are walking a tightrope. Again, those comments from Chip Roy came after these comments from Donald Trump yesterday, where, again, he doubled down on calling Epstein a hoax. Listen to this.
No, she's given us just a very quick briefing, and in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden, we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well. And it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release,
She's handled it very well. Has she? That's where we disagree. I completely disagree. I think Pam Bondi has been an absolute dumpster fire in handling the Epstein files. And we also have to understand that the first investigation into Jeffrey Epstein was launched under George Bush, but the majority of all this stuff happened under Trump. The newest federal investigation was launched in July 2019 under Trump. Epstein died August 2019 under Trump. So what's the hoax? What's the hoax? After those comments yesterday where he doubled down on the hoax, Speaker Mike Johnson did call on calling the DOJ for more accountability. Speaker Mike Johnson made these comments after the comments from Donald Trump, who called people wanting accountability in the Epstein scandal stupid. This is Mike Johnson yesterday.
We're for transparency. I'm saying the same thing the president is, that you need to have all of the credible information released for the American people to make their decision. We trust the American people, and I know the president does as well. That's an important principle to abide by here. What they have to do, though, what the president has to do is protect the innocent. I mean, there are, whistleblowers and minors' names involved in things related to Epstein, obviously, and you got to be careful not to release that.
I mean, I think that's such a cop-out. Like, obviously, we're not asking for the names of the victims. Like, obviously. When do we ever say, I demand to know every victim out there? Like, no. Nobody has ever said that. What we want to know is who was involved and who was being blackmailed and for who. And these are reasonable questions to ask. Doesn't make you a bad person for asking. It doesn't make you anti-Trump for asking. Quite the contrary. And I do think we need to keep the pressure on. If there's anything I truly believe about Donald Trump is that he listens to his base. He does. He listens to the voters. This is how he's gotten so far. He listens to the American people in a way that no other politician in my lifetime has. So make your voice heard and don't think that your voice is inconsequential. Get loud. If you want these files to be released, you need to. You need to get loud. There's going to be a strength in those numbers. So we do. We need to continue getting loud. Now, yesterday, John Solomon had a big interview with Donald Trump. And he prefaced this interview by saying Donald Trump was down to have a special prosecutor looking into Epstein. Okay, that's great. I'm here for it. So this is how John Solomon sold it on the War Room with Steve Bannon.
You did inform him that they're thinking about appointing a special counsel on this to take over this entire investigation.
Yeah, and he said, I think it's a good approach. Let's just do it. Let's get the trust of the American people. Let's get accountability, and then let's focus on the things that matter.
So he's on board with the situation of getting a special prosecutor and having the Epstein situation put into that, so that can be formally looked
anything
at.
Anything legitimate that should be looked at.
And really in a criminal context.
He volunteered it, by the way, Steve. I ask about the special, but he immediately volunteers, and then I follow up on it. But he immediately brings up Epstein. Like, just throw that in. Let's get it all answered. I got nothing to hide. I want truth, and I want prosecutions, and I just want the justice system to take care of what needs to be taken care of. It was really a remarkable moment.
And so I heard that, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go. Now, part of me also looks at a special counsel, and I'm like, great, like that's going to be 2 years, taxpayer money. It's going to be a waste, and then it's going to turn out like the Durham report or the Mueller report. We're going to go, oh, all right, yeah. All right, moving on. You know what I mean? And it's like, part of me feels like it's just to satiate people. Like, oh, okay, we got a special counsel. Great. Like, is anything going to come of it? But then I listened to the interview, and in the interview, Trump didn't sound as gung-ho as John Solomon made it sound when he was selling the interview. The interview happened last night on Real America's Voice. That's where they aired it. And again, Trump is on the phone with John Solomon, but it sounds like this.
What are the things that are most important that you would like to see the FBI get to the bottom of?
I think they could look at all of it. It's all the same scam. They could look at this Jeffrey Epstein hoax also, because that's the same stuff. That's all put out by Democrats.
Yeah.
And, some of the naive Republicans fall right into line like they always do. They just don't have the sustainability. They don't have they don't have that stick to it like glue. The Democrats, they have bad policy. They have bad candidates. They have bad everything. But they stick together. The Republicans don't do that. But they ought to look into the Jeffrey Epstein hoax too, because that's another hoax that's frankly put out by the pushing the Republicans and put out by the Democrats.
No, they definitely set the Republicans up. One big prosecutor look.
Okay. How'd they set us up? And where's the pushback on that? Like, what do you mean? What's the hoax? Can somebody ask the president what the hoax aspect is of this? Now, I've seen theories online that maybe Trump is kind of mixing up two issues, right? Where he's thinking people demanding the release of the files because there's rumors that he's on the files. And I would make the argument nobody in the base thinks that Donald Trump is implicated firsthand. Like, we just don't. There's too much evidence to say otherwise. And we also understand that the Biden administration had these files for 4 years. If Donald Trump was in them, they would have leaked something to discredit him. They threw a bullet at his head. You think they wouldn't have leaked a file if it would have damaged him? Like, of course they would have. Of course they would have. What's the hoax? What's the hoax? Again, yeah, there was an investigation of Jeffrey Epstein under George Bush. But then the latest one was under Trump. Jeffrey Epstein killed himself while Trump was in jail. Like, where's the hoax? I'm very confused by it. And John Solomon didn't ask any questions. Like, I would have followed up with, okay, explain the hoax. A lot of people hear you say the hoax, sir. What do you mean by it's a hoax? What do you mean that Republicans fell for it? Like, can you give us a little bit more of an in-depth explanation? Like, I'm not even asking for that. I'm just give me an explanation what you mean. What's the hoax? I heard Murphy talking about this yesterday, and especially the what's the hoax part. And I found myself just like shouting amen at the radio. Like, dude, yes. What are we talking about here? What's the hoax? 615-737-9986. Mike in Nashville, can you help me figure out what the hoax is?
I got my theory, Chris. Listen, man, at some point a couple of months ago when this woman, Bondi, first came out with the deal, and then she changed it the last minute, a lot of people, including myself, we thought, well, maybe Trump's name's on this list. This is the reason why this woman is changing, because she doesn't want, because Trump is her boss, and she doesn't want to get in problems with him. But now, after looking at this situation over the last couple of weeks, Trump is not, like you said before, Trump's name is not on the list, because if Biden had it, they would have put it out, because much as they hated Donald Trump.
Yep.
Okay, I believe that there's somebody else on the deep state, somebody in the deep state, and we all know that that's who's really running Washington, D.C. There's somebody on that list, Chris, that name that cannot come out, and Donald Trump knows this, and Pam knows this, and what's his name, Bongino. I lost a lot of respect for Dan Bongino. I used to listen to his show. The guy, he said that he was gonna go to Washington and he was gonna clean it up. He was gonna get the Secret Service, FBI, all these people in line, and he's done nothing but fall right into the same old routine as all the rest of those people. And I'm very disappointed. And if he ever was to come back to the radio, I would never listen to his show again, because I lost respect for him. But I believe that Donald Trump is protecting somebody, and it's not himself. Donald Trump is not on the list for those people that want his name on it. His name is not on there, but there's somebody's name on that list who cannot come out, and it can't be seen. So I believe what's going to happen, Chris, in the long run, that Pam, she's going to take the fall. Donald Trump is saying that he's sticking with her, but he's already shown that he can turn on his own people when he's saying that Republicans are stupid and that the MAGA people are stupid and for believing this hoax. So he's already shown that he can turn on people that work for him or support him. So I believe when the heat gets real, real hot, that Pam Bondi is going to be the one that takes the fall, because there's got to be a scapegoat, and it's not going to be Donald Trump, and it's not going to be Kash Patel or Bongino. I think Pam is good because she put herself on the stove, Chris, when she said she had the file on the table, and she was going to put it out, and then they came out with a damn binder with nothing in it, and then a week or so ago, she said there is no file. So she put herself on the hot seat right there, and if I was Donald Trump, to take the heat off myself, I would let Bondi take a fall, because I don't like the job she's doing anyway. So I believe that she's the person that's going to be out of a job when it's all said and done.
Yep.
And I'd like to hear what you have to say about that. And I thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, Mike, I'm with you 100%. I do think it really falls at the feet of Pam Bondi. I think Trump stepped in it this past week, calling supporters who fell for the hoax stupid. I think that's just a huge mess and an unforced error. I made that point yesterday. But yeah, Pam Bondi brought those binders out without any approval. Susie Wiles had no idea that she was going to bring those binders out. I had friends in the room. They weren't there to get a briefing on Epstein. They were there to meet with administration officials. They met with Rubio that day. They met with RFK that day. They met with Vance. They met with Trump. Then they met with Bondi. They met with Rubio. Did I say Rubio? I might have said already said that. But then they met with Bondi, and Bondi just rolls out these binders. Now, influencers are going to do what influencers do. And was there a few that waited by those cameras to get their pictures taken? Sure was. But nobody had the opportunity to read any of that information inside the White House. I mean, it's a thick, thick binder full of all these documents. So they think they're getting real info. And these guys are excited. Can't blame them. Can't blame them. I wouldn't have done the picture. And my friends that were there, they didn't stand around and wait for the photo op because they knew that it could turn out badly, and it did for some of them. But I don't blame those influencers one bit. The blame is on Pam Bondi. Always has been. Donald Trump, though, unforced error. More of your calls on the way at 615-737-9986. Kim, hang on the line. I'll get to you first up next. Plus, Pam Bondi fired somebody very, very critical to those Epstein prosecutions. And Thomas Massie has introduced a new bill that has bipartisan support to release the Epstein files. We'll talk about both those stories when we get back. 10:53, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you, Jay Harper. It is 10:59 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. So I got a story here. James Comey's daughter, Maureen. Poor Maureen. She got fired yesterday. Yep, fired as a federal prosecutor. Don't let the door hit you. Maureen Comey, the daughter of FBI Director James Comey. You know, you may know him from seashell formations like 86-47. She's the daughter. She led the Southern District of New York, and according to multiple news outlets, she's out. Now, a lot of people are going, is this related to Epstein? Maureen Comey worked on the criminal cases against Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that have really been orbiting around the Trump administration, right? So was she fired because of that? Maybe. A lot of people are theorizing online, though, that she could have also been fired because of the FBI investigation into her daddy and to prevent leaks in that investigation. Both things could be true. Both things could be true. Both things could be wrong. The Department of Justice declined to comment on why she was let go, and the Southern District of New York did not immediately respond to requests for comment from the Hill. So we're left to speculate. But I do know one thing. These Epstein files and getting them out, it's turning into a bipartisan effort. Thomas Massey introduced a new bill, and it's called the Epstein Files Transparency Act. It's live, and it's got some pretty big signers. You might know some of these names. Tim Burchett, maybe you've heard of him. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Eli Crane, Lauren Boebert, Jeff Van Drew, Corey Mills. Couple names that might surprise you, though. Democrats. Ro Khanna, he's all in. That's not a shocker. But Rashida Tlaib is also back in this one. Interesting. We'll see where it goes, and I'll keep you updated. It's 11:01. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's 11:06 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? It's Chris Hand. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. Water filtration systems, water softeners, betterwater.com. You can listen to us anywhere on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, the FM dial. You can watch us, Super Talk TV. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Rumble. If you're over on YouTube, hit like, hit subscribe. Same with Rumble. And share the show with your friends. We appreciate it when you do so. Help us build the biggest digital footprint that we can on this radio station. It'll help everybody. So I'm watching the text line. People are mad at me again. People are mad at me again for bringing up Epstein. I don't know what to tell people. So I got this text 1323. This is not the only text like this. Just it's like 50-50. 50-50. People are like, move on. And then other people are like, keep going. But I got this text. And this text from 1323 said, oh, God. Chris, F you and WTN for your continuous bashing of this Epstein issue. Yes, these predators need to be held accountable, but why keep complaining over and over and over? I said, there's new info. LOL. Do you want me to ignore it? I mean, it's not like I don't dictate the news cycle. I just cover the news cycle. And this is something a lot of people want to talk about one way or another. Whether they think it's a scam and we shouldn't be paying attention to it, or if they think that it's a big deal and we should keep pushing. But, like, I understand that Trump has other priorities. But I wish he would come out and say, guys, Epstein's not the most important thing in my world right now. You know, I'm focused on world peace, the economy, the border. You know, we'll let the DOJ handle that other stuff. Had he said that from the jump, none of this would have happened. But he didn't. What he did do was he interrupted Pam Bondi and said, I don't know why we're still talking about this. You guys all campaigned on this. You guys campaigned on being the most transparent, the most honest. You campaigned on law and order and accountability. Like, you could have handled this so many other ways. You could. It's not my fault. It's not. I didn't choose Trump to handle it the way he did. Yet here we are. And there keeps coming new information, right? So it's not just the stuff that we covered yesterday with the True Social Post. I haven't even read that. We did. We covered that, ad nauseum yesterday. It was wild. But yesterday we got new news from the John Solomon interview that maybe Trump is open to a special prosecutor. Yesterday we got new news that Maureen Comey has been fired from the SDNY. She prosecuted those cases. That's a big deal. Yesterday we got news that Thomas Massie is introducing a bipartisan bill, the Epstein Files Transparency Act. We got more audio from Chip Roy, who sounded like he was walking a tightrope. We got more audio from Mike Pence. There's new information to cover. And this is the biggest story in the country right now. So I got to keep pushing. How is it a scam and a hoax if there are victims? Asking for a friend. I mean, it's very confusing. It's very confusing. And people want to talk about it. 615-737-9986. Let's go to Kim in Kentucky. What's up, Kim? How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. What do you got today?
Well, I'm sort of thinking about this outside of the box. Who is still alive, which is Maxwell, and Epstein, well, he was the fall guy. He was going to be set up to be the fall guy in all of this. Maxwell, her dad, you can go back and research and what he did.
Yep.
And what she did, just like those pictures you showed a while ago, right? She was in the pictures. She was Epstein's right-hand woman, man, whatever you want to call. She's the one that's got all the answers.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, and I've heard the calls for her to testify before Congress. I don't know how credible of a witness she's going to be.
Well, she was hiding when they found her.
Yeah.
And, it's just, to me, it seems like he was the fall guy. Whether he's dead or alive, I still have questions on that too. But I think that all the answers, and it's more about her because she was out and about around all these people.
Yep. Now, and I think it's important to point out, just because you have a photo with Ghislaine Maxwell doesn't mean that you were on the list. And like all these big celebrity parties, and I appreciate the call, Kim, I really do. Thank you. All these big celebrity parties have photographers, right? So like these pictures where like you'll see Ghislaine with Elon, it doesn't really mean anything. It just doesn't. Like these are the circles that they ran in. So take the pictures with a grain of salt. Ghislaine Maxwell's dad and his ties, if he did or did not have them, to Mossad, those are real theories that are out there that people talk about. People are very interested in. And I've heard theories that, yeah, Ghislaine was actually the brains behind the operation and Epstein was the fall guy. And people point to the dad and his ties, Ghislaine Maxwell's dad. I mean, do your own research. I don't know what's true or what's not. I just know what the speculation is online. But it's fascinating. Garrett in Nashville, you're next. What's up? Yo, Garrett. Hey, what's up, man?
Yeah, I'm here. You were just talking about Maxwell. I wonder, is she afraid of being murdered? And because she knows people, and then the victims certainly know who the people were. But are they afraid of just being smeared and their lives destroyed? There are other people who know these perpetrators' names besides who has their list on her desk.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. But with Ghislaine, and is she afraid of being murdered? I would say, yeah, wouldn't you? I would be. Christian in the borough, what do you got, man?
Hey, if Epstein was working for Israel, which I know there's speculation about him working for the Mossad, and Israel is obviously a vital ally of the United States, it seems that letting this information out could negatively affect the perception of Israel by American citizens, and I could see where President Trump would want to protect that and not release that information so that we continue to maintain our relationship with Israel in a positive way. So that's my I've thought about this a lot too, like everyone else, and I wonder about that possibility. Of course, we'll never know because I know Israel has denied ever using Epstein to blackmail world leaders, but who knows?
Let's game plan that out. Say that that was the reason, right, to protect the relationship with Israel, right? And I'm not saying that that's the case, but let's just game plan it out. Would that be an acceptable reason to you?
Yeah, in the sense of because of the international politics, all the anti-Israel protesting and violence that's going on, and other issues to maintain that solid relationship with Israel. Dirtier things have been done, but I could see where that could be a motivation to suppress or ignore or put aside this type of information.
But you personally, Christian, if it did come out and we found out that Israel and the Mossad was running the Epstein blackmail operation, and to be fair, it could just as equally be the CIA, right? Like, let's just be real. Yeah. Say it was, and it's proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Are you okay with our federal government protecting an ally who is blackmailing our politicians via underage sex? And is that something an ally does?
Yeah, I think that they do, and I think they have done worse things to protect international relationships, especially when it comes to terrorism and war and all the things that could happen if that relationship were to be harmed. So
really,
yeah.
See,
yeah.
I wouldn't say the same thing, and I'm not saying that it was them. I'm just saying, that's the rumors. But I wouldn't be able to be okay with that.
So then you'd be okay if it turned negative and it resulted in us disassociating ourselves from Israel and leaving them open to more criticism, terrorism, violence, and ultimately world war if they got attacked by China, Russia, and other countries like that.
You're willing to look past the rape of minors for that?
Well, I'm not. You're drawing that conclusion that's going to be looked past. That's not. I mean, that stuff could still be dealt with covertly and still protect this relationship. So in the sense of I'm not.
Is the relationship, and again, we're just speculating.
Sure, yeah.
But the relationship would be worth saving to you if you found out that Mossad was engaging in the blackmail, where underage, where minors were being raped.
Boy, it's a tough one, but gosh, I mean, what are your choices? Your options are.
I mean, the options would be
internationally are really bad. And
yeah, but we still have the strongest military in the world. We still have the strongest commander in chief in the world. That's evident by what we saw with what happened in Iran. So I wouldn't be fearful of World War III. I wouldn't be able to sit that one out.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one, but that's just when I first heard this and thought about it, and I'm like, well, maybe he's protecting Israel's relationship with Epstein by suppressing this or delaying it or something else. I'm never going to say it's okay to ignore harm to young teenage girls, but I get it in the sense of what could happen just strictly from an international relationship like this. I see why it could happen this way.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to talk about. It certainly is, and I appreciate the call, Christian. Now, let's just be perfectly honest. Israel has come out and said, no. Naftali Bennett, former Israeli prime minister, posted a tweet. This was 2 days ago? 3 days ago. 3 days ago, he puts out this tweet, and he says, as former Israeli prime minister, with the Mossad having reported directly to me, I say to you with 100% certainty, the accusation that Jeffrey Epstein is somehow working for Israel or the Mossad running a blackmail ring is categorically and totally false. Epstein's conduct, both the criminal and the merely despicable, had nothing whatsoever to do with the Mossad or the state of Israel. Epstein never worked for the Mossad. This accusation is a lie being peddled by prominent online personalities such as Tucker Carlson, pretending they know things they don't. They just make things up, say it with confidence, and these lies stick because it's Israel. There's a vicious wave of slander and lies against my country and my people, and we just won't take it anymore. Now, a lot of people have responded to this, and the questions come up where, yes, you've denied it, but our government hasn't. Trump hasn't. Bondi hasn't. Kash Patel hasn't. Dan Bongino hasn't. Is that a red flag? I don't know. But people ask questions. Viva Fry responding to the post saying 2 simple questions. Why was former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak visiting Epstein dozens of times after it was known that Epstein was a child abuser? Question number 2, why was Mossad at Robert Maxwell's funeral? And the longer we go without answers to these questions, the more speculation abounds, right? Like this is just where we're at. But it's a scam, and it's a hoax, and we should move on. Holly in Cookville, you're up next. What do you got, Holly?
Hey, I definitely think that Trump is for transparency. I think that there was a really good segment on Charlie Kirk yesterday, and he went into also kind of looking at Trump's knee-jerk reaction to some of this. I think my words, not Charlie's, but he's almost having like a PSTD from his first term where he was derailed and lost his attorney general, and so many things happened, and he's always got his head on a swivel, because there are evil people out there that are constantly trying to do things against him. But I also feel that, we definitely want transparency, and for them to have it looked into further is important.
Yep.
But right now, what's on the table going on right now, while we're also focused on this, is big information about us going to digital currency, losing our rights with money, and so many issues. Pam Bondi as bad as we think she is, do we really want Trump to be engrossed in dealing with a new attorney general? She does need to address vetting her department. They have found that one of her employees in the Department of Justice is the wife of the man who developed this ICE app.
Oh, yeah, the ICE block app. Yep.
Yeah, she needs to get some vetting done. She needs so many other things that they definitely need to take this off her plate and put it into the lap of somebody that can give it more attention.
Yeah,
But,
I hear you, but I think that the messaging from the Trump administration could have been that from the jump. Instead of interrupting Pam Bondi and go, I don't know why we're still talking about this, you could have interrupted and said, you understand that while this is a big deal, like our priorities are foreign policy, world peace, the economy, rebuilding the middle class, securing the southern border, and mass deportations. The DOJ is working on this. And everybody would have been like, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Moving on. That's how it would have gone. Brian in Nashville, you're next on Super Talk. What's up, Brian?
What's up, man? I'll be quick because I know you're up against some kind of advertising deal, I'm sure. No doubt Trump knows more, and I hate it because I'm a big supporter. But you know what? That's one thing about being a conservative is you'll say when right's right and wrong's wrong. What I don't understand is let's attack this from another angle. Let's get the victims. I don't think they have to make them public. Give them total protection and let them tell the story, and they can tell. They'll know who was there, who wasn't, who was raping, who wasn't, who was doing whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure all the girls are innocent just because of an age, which makes me think back to my own teenage years when I knew right from wrong, but nobody wants to say that. Nobody wants to say right from wrong, and I think that's where this is a moral, ethical issue, just like that Christian dude that just called in. I mean, his name could be not more ironic than what he would sell his soul for, which is international relations for the souls of young girls. Not saying they were good people. They may have been bad children or, sex addicts. I don't know at that age. But what I'm saying is that's not right. And we need to say it. And Trump's not. He's disappointing big time. I'm not a giver to his campaign. I'm just a supporter. But I'll lose that in a heartbeat if I find out he's covering something up.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, I appreciate the call, Brian. It is 11:24. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at Better Water LLC. If you're tired of the weird smells and stains or just plain old bad taste in water at your house, it's time to call Better Water. They're going to install what looks like a giant Brita filter for your entire house. They'll put it in the garage. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be perfect. Or maybe you could scale something down for just underneath your sink. Whatever you need. They could do it for your home or they could do it for your business, and they handle removing everything. You could have some nasty stuff in your water. Terrible stuff. Sulfur, iron, chlorine, bacteria, E. coli. Now you might be thinking, I'm on a well. I don't have to worry about that. Spoiler alert. You might have to worry about that. And here's the kicker. Better Water will test your water for free. And if you got that nasty stuff in there, they offer a full range of options. Reverse osmosis, specialized filters, UV lights. Better Water has you covered, and they're going to clean it up. Local company based out of Smyrna. They're already treating the water at the coffee shops and the hospitals around town. So stop drinking the junk out of your tap and trust the experts over at Better Water. 615-355-6063. That's 615-355-6063. Or check them out online, betterwater.com. That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. My name is Chris Hand. The show's brought to you by our friends at Better Water LLC. Got a couple calls to get to before we jump into the lightning round after the news with Jay coming up at 11:30. Mike in the borough, what do you got?
Hey, Chris, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. What are you thinking?
All right. Well, stick with me just for 1 sec. I'll try to make it quick. But there's a vast majority of Americans now that are turning against Israel and supporting causes against anti-Jews and everything else. Is that not correct?
Yeah, you can make the argument for that, for sure.
Do you not think that they're laughing their butts off with this, conspiracy about Israel being involved in all this stuff, and isn't that like helping them promote their cause? My bottom line is this: I'm not happy with the way Trump handled everything. Like you said, he completely stuck his foot in his mouth.
Yep.
But these people that have started this rumor that Israel's involved, weren't we holding them accountable and saying, hey, come out, talk on the show, and give us the proof, instead of us speculating, which is only increasing everybody's anger and anxiety?
Yeah.
And make them come out and say, you're making the allegation, show me the proof, or shut up.
Yeah, I mean, I think but the theories come from how this guy went from being a math teacher with no education degree to then having billions and billions of dollars in the most expensive real estate in Manhattan. The theories come out because of Ghislaine Maxwell and the ties that her father had to the Mossad, and the Mossad showing up at his funeral. And so, like, that's where these theories come from. It's not like they're coming from a place of no... you know what I mean? Like there's some truth to some of these rumors that make the speculation go a little bit crazy. And it seems like the lack of being able to talk about it drives the internet into a frenzy. And that's what gives the ammo to the people that hate the Jewish people. And I think that the other thing that gives ammo to people that, to that conversation is that if I criticize the government of Israel, the government that we give billions of dollars in aid to every year, right? If I criticize them, I get labeled an anti-Semite. But it's like, I'm just criticizing the government. I'm not criticizing the people. And I think you have a strong contention that want to separate the government from the people. And I think you should be able to, because half the people in Israel aren't fans of the current government in Israel. So I think that drives a lot of this hate online. I wish we would be able to talk about it more openly without the name calling, but it doesn't seem like that's ever going to happen.
Right. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your show and everything, but I think it all goes back to the way Trump handled it initially. But a theory is still just a theory without facts.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. 100%. Appreciate the call, Mike. As always, it's 11:31. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, what's up? It's Chris Hand here for my friends at the Glock Store. Yes, the Glock Store is my favorite 2A superstore, and it should be yours too. If you've never been there, here's a few reasons why you're going to love the Glock Store. First, it's got to be selection. You're not going to beat the selection at the Glock Store. Every Glock in stock means just that. Every model, every version. Plus, straight up beautiful custom Glocks that they do with their own lasers in-house, like the Trump Glock. Worth the drive just to see those. Secondly, you're going to love the people there. These guys aren't just employees. They are full-blown Glock fanatics. They live and they breathe this stuff. They'll answer any question you have. They love answering these questions. And some of these guys love working there so much they drive from Kentucky every single day. I mean, it's a family. It's not employees. It's a family. Third, you're going to love the customer service. It's not actually, it just feels like service. I mean, I've walked around there before as I'm waiting to go to my training session. I kid you not, every employee in the building will greet you and ask if you need help with anything. If you buy an upgrade, they'll install it for free while you wait. That's just scratching the surface. The Glock Store, you need to go check them out. Minutes from the airport, worth the trip from anywhere. Go once, and it's going to be your favorite Glock Store, too. Always open online, glockstore.com. It's 11:37, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, how are you? My name is Chris Hand. The show is brought to you by Better Water LLC. We love those guys. Great patriots. BetterWater.com if you need a water filter. Why would you need a water filter? Do you know why you would need a water filter, Sam? Sam's training.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
It's true. BetterWater.com. That one soundbite, it gets less funny, and then it gets funny again, and then it gets less funny, and then we wait a little while, and then it'll be funny again. We're going to take a little break. Hey, it's time for the lightning round. You guys excited for this? Let's go.
It's the lightning round with Chris Hand.
Yes, the lightning round. And we're covering all the stories that we didn't get a chance to get to. Plus, giving you a last-minute chance for hot takes on anything we talked about or didn't talk about at 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Gavin Newsom running for president. Our first story in the lightning round. You know he is. Of course, Gavin Newsom is running for president. He's been running, I feel like, for a decade now. Gavin Newsom, he's going on conservative podcasts. He went on the Sean Ryan show. Sean Ryan actually got him a gun. Did you see that? He bought him a gun. It was based. He said, "Don't worry, it's California compliant." And then Gavin Newsom's like, I'm not against handguns. It's like, yeah, okay. Sure thing, pal. Sure thing. But there's a clip that I saw from the show that I wanted to bring to the table. Gavin Newsom is asked if somebody who's 8 years old is too young for a sex change. It's a good question. You know, Gavin got a lot of heat after his podcast with Charlie Kirk because he said he understood that it was unfair to have boys playing in young girls' sports, which is factual and correct. Is he going to make that same kind of gaffe again, where he just pisses off his entire base? He sort of does. But he quickly pivots out of the question in the slimiest car salesman kind of way. Listen to this exchange between Sean Ryan and Gavin Newsom.
What about for your values? I mean, is 8 years old too young?
Yeah, I mean, look, I now that I have a 9-year-old, just became 9. Come on, man, I get it. So those are legit. You know, it's interesting. Just the issue of age. It's interesting. As someone that's been so focused on equality, broadly, LGBT rights, particularly gay marriage.
Oh, yeah. Look at the pivot out of that. I mean, you could tell how nervous he is because he probably has PTSD of triggering his base with the comments he made during the Gavcast with Charlie Kirk. But he quickly pivots out into gay marriage. And I would just point out, sir, gay marriage was the slippery slope that everybody warned it would be. There were conservatives screaming, this is a slippery slope. And everybody said, shut up, bigot. Shut up. And they said, we're not trying to indoctrinate your kids. Oh, well, yeah, fast forward a few years. Where are they at? Oh, yeah, they're just trying to chop off the bits of your kids. Weird. Again, I think this is because a lot of the nonprofits that were really focused on legalizing gay marriage, it's like why homelessness won't get solved in California, right? Because you got a guy running a nonprofit. He's making $250,000 a year running this nonprofit to stop homelessness. Well, if you were to stop homelessness, well, then you lose your awesome nonprofit gig. So there's actually no incentive to stop it. But with the guys that were funding the fight for gay marriage, they learned pretty quickly once it was legalized, oh crap, there's our revenue stream. What do we do? And then the next marginalized group was trans individuals, and that's the route they went.
Coincidence? I think not.
No, nobody thinks it's a coincidence. All right, got another story for you in the lightning round. Thanks, Gavin. Thanks. Appreciate it. Speaking of California, I saw a video, and I don't know how to phrase this. I guess you could call it progress. California now has gay robots. Yes, that's right. There are gay robots walking around the streets of California. What dystopian hellhole has this become? A lot of gay robots, and people are very excited. It's called the Rizbot. It's the Rizbot. It's the gayest robot in California. Let's listen to the locals react.
Yes! So cute! Bye, robot! It's waving at us!
Everybody's very excited. Very excited. Progress.
We know exactly what they're going to do with that thing, too.
I know. It's awful. Imagine the smell. Moving on. Got another story for you in the lightning round. Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene has officially introduced legislation that would ban weather modification and geoengineering worldwide. Huge fan of this. This is where my tinfoil hat gets very, very tight. Yes, I do believe in weather modification and geoengineering, and I think that there is enough evidence out there to support the claims. Like, CEOs of companies that do weather modification and geoengineering confirming its reality. The fact that you could pay a couple $100,000 actually to prevent rain on your wedding day. These are real things. Weather modification. The floods in Texas raised a lot of questions. There was some cloud seeding being done in the area a couple days before. Individuals are saying that could have contributed to these devastating floods that we're seeing. Other people are saying, no, it doesn't work that way. If we seeded a couple days before, that's only really going to stay up there for a few hours, and it's not going to cause that. Whatever the case may be, it's above my scientific level. I do know, though, that a lot of these scientific stuff comes with unintended consequences, and I'm not a huge fan of weather modification. I think that's really God's thing, the weather, and I think that's kind of like where I land on it. If the good Lord wants it to rain, cool. But, he also promised no more floods, and I think that we could probably screw that promise up if we're seeding clouds. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene on the legislation she's introducing to ban weather modification and geoengineering nationwide.
I have a big announcement to make. My Clear Skies Act has been filed. This is my legislation to ban weather modification and geoengineering of all kinds. Finally, we can really take the fight in Washington to protect our skies, protect our water, protect our atmospheres, and most of all, protect our families. Thanks for your support, everyone. Look for my legislation, the Clear Skies Act.
Yeah, well, I'll be keeping my eyes on that and seeing how that moves forward. We do have that banned in Tennessee. Shout out to my friend Monty Fritz, State Rep Monty Fritz. He got that banned in Tennessee, although a lot of people will point up at the sky and be like, man, it's still happening. There's no real enforcement arm of it, which makes things tough. He is going to try and introduce something to increase enforcement on that coming forward. In Florida, you got to keep like detailed logs on how weather modifications taking place, if those planes are taken off from airports. Like, this stuff is real, but people will call you a crazy lunatic conspiracy theorist. It actually started in, I think it was Vietnam or Korea. They wanted to extend typhoon season as a way to amp up the troops and have a strategic advantage over the enemy. And so they were cloud seeding all the way back then to increase typhoon season. I see you Googling it to see which one it was. I think it was Vietnam or it was Korea. I think it was Korea, if I'm recalling correctly. It's been a while since I read it. But they did geoengineering to increase typhoon season.
So it says, historically, Project Storm Fury, a U.S. government program from 1962 to 1983, attempted to modify hurricanes through cloud seeding. No,
that's not the right one. There's other stuff out there too. Declassified documents. So you can absolutely you can find them. There's declassified documents out there. It is a real thing. People will look at you like you have four heads if you were to talk about it. Trust me. I've said chemtrails to my mother-in-law. I know what that look is. I guarantee you they look at you like you're crazy. 9673 text in said it was Vietnam, and it was invented in the 1940s. So yeah, around there. Thank you. 9673. Appreciate it. Got another story for you here in the lightning round. I mentioned this. I briefly foreshadowed this earlier. Do you know Mike Francesca? Do you follow sports at all, like sports radio? Mike Francesca, he's a massive sports guy in New York, and he's hilarious. Just for let the record show, he's hilarious. But this may be the best review of the new Superman movie that I've seen anywhere. Okay, you've heard that it went woke, right? It used to be truth, justice, and the American way, and now in the new Superman movie, it's truth, justice, and the human way. So a lot of people are saying this movie is terrible. Mike Francesca on his podcast gave out an unbiased Superman review.
What I'm getting into is this stunk. As for someone who's a old-time TV show Superman guy trying to get entertained for a couple hours and wants to see Superman, this movie was pure torture to sit through.
Torture.
I mean, I'll tell you this. If my name was on the credits, I'd hide it. That's how bad it was. This was 2 hours of this new Superman. It was he wasn't Christopher Reeve, but he was okay Superman. 2 hours of him getting the crap beat out of him. Who wants to see Superman get beat up for 2 hours? He's getting beat up by everybody. Plus, you have other superheroes in the movie. I didn't go there to see some guy named Mr. Terrific.
Nobody did.
I didn't go there to see the Green Lantern.
Nobody did.
Or some lady named Hoax something or other. I don't even know who she was.
Yeah, Hawk something or other. Get out of here. Trash.
Okay, these other superheroes who he calls on, Who needs other superheroes? This is a Superman movie. You want to see Superman flirt with Lois Lane, keep his disguise, and battle crime. That's what you want to see.
I mean, it's an easy recipe for success, right? And they messed it up.
And good triumph over evil. That's Superman. A little tongue-in-cheek, a little cartoonish, a little campy. Okay, this was unmitigated garbage. First of all, early on, there's robots. I don't want robots.
No. Nobody wants robots, especially if it's the Rizbot, that gay robot from California. Oh, my gosh. Could you imagine? Yes. Rizbot slay. Actually, I take it back. If Superman's going to fight a robot, it damn well better be the Rizbot.
Better watch out for that vortex machine it's got strapped to it.
Superman, look out. The Rizbot's behind you. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Jeez.
Okay, I don't want robots taking care of Superman. I don't.
Nobody does.
Then there's a super dog. Who came up with a super dog?
The kids love crypto. The kids love crypto. That's where he lost me. I actually I saw the preview. I didn't see the movie yet. I saw the preview. I was like, based. We got crypto. I was excited about it. Maybe it's just me. Is it just me? It could be just me. But the Superman movie, according to Mike Francesca, is unmitigated torture, absolute garbage, and too much robots. Too much robots. He didn't get into how woke it was, but believe me, there are reviews out there. Truth, justice in the American way. Truth, justice in the human way. It's the human way. Superman's an illegal immigrant. It's an immigration story, really. That's really what it's all about. Yeah. No thanks. Hard pass. I got one more story for you in the lightning round, and then we'll break. This is an interesting one. Tesla is facing its first federal jury trial over a fatal crash involving the autopilot system. Yeah, this is the first time that they're going to be up against it. Elon Musk, Tesla, Breitbart has a story. First federal jury trial over a fatal crash involving its autopilot driver assist system, making it the first significant legal challenge for the EV giant. New York Times reports that in a case that could have major implications for Tesla and its self-driving technology, the company is set to defend itself in federal court in Miami. Jury selection began yesterday. The lawsuit was filed by the family of Nabil Benavides, who was killed in a 2019 crash, and her boyfriend, Dylan Angelo, who survived with severe injuries, represents the first time a federal case involving Tesla's autopilot has reached jury. So what had happened was this guy was driving his Tesla, and there's a couple people on the side street, right? And they're kind of in the road. And he said he dropped his cell phone. And when he dropped his cell phone, it's in autopilot, and he's reaching for his cell phone, and then boom, the car hits those two people. Now, they went through all the dash cam evidence, and you know, everything's wired, and there's all the cameras, and you can pull everything. And they said that the autopilot system did detect the pedestrians, and it also detected their SUV. It should have engaged the emergency braking system when the driver didn't take control of the car. But Tesla's saying it's supervised autopilot. You got to supervise that thing. So when you're looking down for your cell phone, you're no longer supervising it. This fatal incident occurred in April of 2019. Tesla Model S, driven by George Brian McGee, crashed into a parked SUV on a 2-lane road in South Florida. Again, autopilot was engaged. There are supposed to be some fail-safes in there, but it does say you need to supervise this. So I don't know what's going to happen with this case, but it's definitely interesting and one that I'm going to pay close attention to, because this could change a lot when it comes to autonomous vehicles in the United States of America. Something to pay attention to. Should updates become available, we'll bring them to you right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Well, grab some water, an extra bottle of water as you head out the door today. Man, we're in triple-digit heat indices. And Nashville Electric, they're cutting off some service to some residents tonight. We will let you know where. That's coming up at noon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
That's Jay Harper in the newsroom. It's 11:58. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Show's brought to you by Better Water LLC. We got Chad Benson in studio. What's up, Chad?
Nothing. I was enjoying Mike Francesco do his Superman should be in black and white, and I don't like change.
I said I was kind of with you on the crypto part of it. Yeah. I like crypto.
I don't like the dog. When did he get a dog? Hold on a second. I'm going to go outside and yell at the ocean.
I just think the New York accent is torture. It's torture.
There's robots. Why are there robots in a movie with Superman?
The Rizbot.
That's so awesome.
What are you focusing on today, man?
I don't even know at this point in time. We'll have fun. I don't know. Maybe some immigration. We may talk. Who knows what? We'll surprise some people today. It'll be fun. What you talk about?
We talked about we celebrated some wins. We got immigration wins. We got economy wins. Coke's getting rid of fructose syrup.
Yeah, I like that Mexican Coke.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
It is. If you guys have never had a Mexican Coke, it's the greatest Coke in the world.
You can get them here now.
Yeah,
like you can just go to the aisle and pick them up.
Yeah, but they're so good.
I mean, but it's like it always blows my mind though, because you're already making that product. You're just choosing not to sell it to the Americans.
Exactly. Why? Because of big sugar.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think it's big corn.
Big corn sugar.
Big corn.
Big ag.
The worst.
The worst.
The worst. Don't trust them.
So who knows? We'll talk a little bit about that. We got some other stuff, some Disney stuff, all kinds of fun stuff.
Disney stuff.
Yes.
What are you focusing on with Disney?
Oh, it's a big day today at Disneyland. Wait till you hear, kids. Huge day. Massive day at Disneyland.
Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, the guy with the mustache back? Is that what's going on? You remember that? He was like in like a Snow White dress. Everybody's like, this is fine.
Yeah,
this is normal.
This is totally normal.
This is totally good. Don't worry about it.
That one trans person that goes around and reviews all the bathrooms at Disneyland, and then that person's like, no, sir, I'm a man. I'm a ma'am. It's ma'am. Whatever.
All right. Chad's in next. It's 12
Robots
o'clock.
are the worst.
There's no robots allowed in the bathrooms at Disneyland, I promise. Chad's in next. 12 o'clock. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.